Wala naman din kasing contest na hindi siya pumirma. Para sa kanya, oo. Pero para sa iba, hindi siya pwede mag-testify kung ba't pumirma yung iba eh. Hindi rin niya pwedeng sabihin na napilitan lang sila o pinilit sila o pumirma sila nang hindi sila nagbabasa. Napakahirap i-prove niyan. 188 katao.
So dapat 188 ang ipatawag nila.
Isa-isahin mo yon. At napakahirap na alegasyon nito. Kung para sa iyo, hindi ka nabigyan ng pagkakataong magbasa, so be it. He could have filed another complaint or he could have filed or he could have had this remedy also within the House.
Pero ano magiging implikasyon nito kung makapag-testify si Congressman Tiangco kahit na sa House in particular at sa prosecution at saka sa Senate Impeachment Court?
Kung nakapag-testify siya, kung pinayagan siya, ganun pa rin kasi yung magiging analysis natin eh. Ngayon mo lang kini-question ang verification. Kung gusto mo, dapat nung una talaga pa. Hindi natin pwedeng questionin ang verification ngayon kung kailan tinanggap na nito ng Senate Impeachment Court at sinabing sufficient na ito.
Ayan po, nakikita natin ang mga kaganapan sa loob ng session hall ng Senado habang nag-aantabay po tayo sa muling pagpapatuloy ng paglilitis ngayong araw na ito. It is the defense's turn to present their testimonies and evidence. Nakikita po natin na nagkukwentuhan ng kapwa kongresista mula sa prosekusyon itong si Congressman Miro Kimbo at ngayon naman sana ay witness ng depensa na si Congressman Toby Chanco. Pareho po sila naka-gray, pareho po sila ng buhok, hindi po sila magkamag-anak.
So makikita nga natin na si Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile ay nagpatawag ng recess, brief recess para konsultahin ang kanyang mga kasamahan sa Senate Impeachment Court. Ukol nga dito sa mga motion o sa gustong ipresenta ni Justice Cuevas bilang a preliminary action or an affirmative defense para po sa panig ng depensa.
At gusto ko lang malaman na Attorney JJ, medyo parang iba po yung flow ng paglilitis ngayon. Kasi di ba po dun sa prosekusyon, nag-umpisa po sila per article. Bakit po ngayon, when it's the defense turn, ay kinwestiyon nila itong complaint mismo? Ganun po ba yung mangyayari na sila bahala sa flow o sasagutin din ba nila ito per article?
Sasagutin din nila per article ito sa tamang panahon, siguro maya-maya lamang. Pero sa pagkakataong ito kasi, binigyan ng pagkakataon ng Senado na mag-rule muna doon sa mga pending motion. So inunahin ko napansin natin, una nagsalita si Senator Soto at sinabi niya yung mga matters na pending, tapos nag-rule si Senate President Enrile, no? Ang next nito ay dapat sagutin na nila isa-isa yung mga articles of impeachment na tinalakay ng complaint. Pero sa ngayon, discretion kasi nila na questionin muna. Meron naman silang karapatang questionin din kung ano yung nilalaman ng complaint o kung tama ba yung nilalaman ng complaint, ng kabuuan.
So technically, itong pagtatanong or itong affirmative defense na ginagawa ni Justice Cuevas, kasama talaga siya sa rules of court at standard procedure ito sa mga korte.
Normally, ang standard procedure sa korte, pag sinabing it's your time to present evidence, bit-bit mo na kagad yung iyong witness at ilalagay mo na yun sa witness stand. Sa pagkakataon ngang ito, mayroong pinagbibigyan sila na makipagdebate ng kaunti sa mga matters na palagay nila, preliminary matters, bago sila tumuloy doon sa kanilang pagpresenta ng witness. So they are accorded this kind of remedy rin naman.
Balikan natin itong mga nangyari nitong nakaraang linggo. Merong ibang mga pinagdesisyonan. May mga matters na pinagdesisyonan itong mga senator judges sa kanilang caucus, bagamat hindi po nagsagawa ng paglilitis dito sa impeachment trial. Inanunsyo nga yung pag-deny ng motion to suppress evidence ng depensa patungkol dun sa mga bank documents. Ano po ba ang implikasyon nito?
Ang implikasyon nitong pagtanggap ng bank documents, sinasabi nito ngayon na dapat harapin ito ng diretsyo ng depensa. Pasinungalingan nila ito ng harapan na hindi totoo na siya ay nagkamal ng nakaw na yaman. So, very interesting itong mga darating na araw sapagkat dito natin makikita kung sufficient na bang witness nga lang si Mrs. Corona o mismong yung nasasakdala mag-witness o magte-testify tungkol dito nga sa mga bank records na to. Hindi natin sinasabi na mali ang Senate Impeachment Court sa pagtanggap nito. Bagkus sinahangaan natin sila dahil nanindigan ng Senate Impeachment Court na may mga bagay na kailangan nating imbestigahan but within the rules.
Nagpapatuloy na po itong pagliliti sa loob ng Senate Session Hall. Bumalik na po sa loob ng Session Hall itong si Presiding Officer, Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile. Tunghayan po natin ang mga kaganapan mula doon.
Trial resumed. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. President, may we recognize Miriam Defensor Santiago?
The lady senator from Iloilo is recognized.
Try and very humbly explain. Hello? For the second time, I would like to try and very humbly explain why the ruling of the court, as articulated by our presiding officer, is on all fours with our rules of court. Rule 16 governs motion to dismiss and deals with the separate grounds for filing a motion to dismiss. Here, the pertinent grounds are related to each other. You could file a motion to dismiss on the ground that the court has no jurisdiction over the person of the defending party, or that the court has no jurisdiction over the subject matter of the claim. With respect to jurisdiction over the person of the defending party, the Supreme Court has taught us it is a settled rule that the party cannot invoke the jurisdiction of a court to secure affirmative relief against his opponent, and after failing to obtain such relief, repudiate or question that same jurisdiction. So, what we are being taught is that if you've already accepted jurisdiction of the court and you've even filed affirmative defenses for the consideration of that court, but your affirmative defense is denied, after doing that, you cannot turn around and then repudiate the same question of jurisdiction. Your hands are already tied. And then the other ground is that the court has no jurisdiction over the subject matter of the claim. Once more, to jurisprudence, we can turn and find the following lesson. While jurisdiction may be assailed at any stage, a party's active participation in the proceedings before a court without jurisdiction will stop, ESTOP, will stop such party from assailing such lack of it. Again, the point is the same. You've already accepted jurisdiction, you've tried to obtain relief, and if you don't obtain it, you cannot now turn around and say, but after all, you have no jurisdiction over me. So I'm afraid that the ruling of the impeachment court that no preliminary hearing will be conducted on a special affirmative defense is on all fours with the rulings of our Supreme Court and the rulings as articulated by our President, our presiding officer, have always been totally congruent with the rulings of the Supreme Court.
Thank
Mr.
you.
President, Senator, may we recognize Senator Escudero, Mr. President, before you?
The gentleman from Sorsogon.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the permission of the presiding officer, may I address some questions to the lead defense counsel, Attorney Cuevas? Sir, if I may ask, it is clear that the impeachment court already made a ruling with respect to the motion for preliminary hearing and even on the affirmative defenses itself with respect to the jurisdiction of the Senate and the procedure adopted by the House. The basic concern, Attorney Cuevas, is you might call all 188 signatories, and you might end up, being bogged down on this issue that has already been decided upon and ruled by the Senate. That's a basic and valid concern by the impeachment court, sir. And secondly, if it was for the purpose of establishing the absence or presence of probable cause, as mentioned by Senator Santiago and ruled by the court in its written ruling, that has already been disposed of by the impeachment court. However, if the purpose is perhaps to set the tone or to, by way of preliminary, to lay the predicate for your general theory of the case, and you will not present 188, and perhaps one or two witnesses on this matter, perhaps some understanding or bending over backwards may be given. But the concern, again, Attorney Cuevas, is baka yung buong 188 ho, patawag ho ninyo. Ano ho ang balak ninyo?
That is far from my mind, Your Honor, because our attack is not on the number first. Now, secondly, I hope you pardon me for disagreeing with your dissertation that there was already a ruling on this particular case. May I cite the January 12, 2012 dispositive portion? In view of all the foregoing, the motion for preliminary hearing filed by Chief Justice Renato Corona is denied for want of merit. So what was denied in our understanding, and it is clear to us, is only the right to a preliminary hearing, not the affirmative defenses, Your Honor, please.
The court will decide on that, Attorney Cuevas, but may I get...
No, I'm just saying, we have every reason to rely on this. If there was a categorical pronouncement, then probably we could have taken other remedies, Your Honor, please.
But may we know, Attorney Cuevas, on this issue and on this matter, in the absence of a pre-trial wherein we would have obtained the list of witnesses, insofar as this issue is concerned, who and how many witnesses do you intend to present, if you may know?
Well, we have stated earlier that we are presenting about 20 witnesses, Your Honor, all the entire impeachment proceedings.
On this topic, sir, Your Honor.
Now, on this topic, probably 3 up to 5. Because, for instance, in 2/3, let's say there are this number, and 2 or 3 of them were intimidated or coerced to sign one way or the other. So the number representing at least 1/3 is already obliterated. So to us, that will be a facade of false information.
Mr. President,
because you
Your
have
Honor,
a definite number in order to determine what is 1/3. Now, supposing of that 1/3, 1 or 2 were merely coerced, they were compelled to affix their signature without being voluntary on their part. Will that not at least change the color of their signature attached to affixed to the complaint? That is because we have every reason to rely on the jurisprudence on the point. Since there is no definite article, much less any section of the impeachment rules by this honorable court, then we have to resort, or we have to go to other sources, Your Honor. And we are not totally left without any support whatsoever. What we read into the records are questions where the impeachment complaint was filed by at least 1/3. And to us, it is clear that the mere fact that the complaint is verified complaint was filed by at least 1/3 does not exempt the petitioner or the complainant from observing the requirements prescribed by law in order to comply with the requirements of due process. That is our point. Because left with no alternative, where do we go? There is no appeal. But there is a violation of the constitutional right of the accused. That is therefore a ground for the Supreme Court to take cognizance of the case. If that is a ground, then how else could we assert it? Except by pleadings. And if we do not agree with the decision of the, we do not agree with the decision of the Honorable Impeachment Court, then maybe other remedies are available to us.
Mr. President, for the record, I agree with the impeachment court with respect to the non-issuance of subpoena to members of the House. However, nothing bars a member of the House from testifying voluntarily if they are called by the defense as their witness.
No.
And insofar as allowing the defense to present evidence on this matter, for as long as it is on a short leash and will not entail the calling of all 188 of them, which would be unreasonable to say the least. I think Council will agree with me.
Yeah, we have already... I'm sorry.
For the record, Mr. President, Your Honor, that is the position of this representation, so that the defense can be given some leeway with respect to developing their case.
I'm not yet crying for liberality in favor of the impeached public official. Many times, the prosecution had been crying for the extension of liberality on their part. If there is anybody who should cry or call for liberality, it should be the impeached public official, being the accused in a criminal case. Never is there a time where the prosecution asks for